Hey, what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. And today, we're going to be talking about Yellowjackets, Season 2, Episode 3. And let's get started. Natalie was sitting outside on the porch thinking about what they just did last night. And then, here comes Taissa coming outside. And I told y'all, I said Taissa's going to wake up in the morning and say, what we do last night. And that's just what she did. She said, what we do last night. What happened to Jackie? Taissa told Natalie, something ate Jackie. What happened? Then here comes Van running outside, and they both had to tell her, girl, you're the something that ate her up. And she's like, no, I would never do that. I would never eat Jackie. I would never do that. And then she's freaking out. She's telling Van, but I was sleepwalking. Yeah, girl, you were sleepwalking, but you still ate her up. Then Van put the cherry on top. She put the cherry. She said, you ate her face. No, why you had to tell her she ate her face? You already see how distraught she is, and then you have to go and tell her she ate her face? Like that was worse than anything else. Yeah, we ate her legs, her arms, and her torso, but you ate her face. When is Taissa not sleep? When is she not sleepwalking? And the thing is, Van was like, how do you not remember when you was talking to me? We were looking at each other in our faces, and we was talking to each other. You don't remember? Do y'all think that if Taissa was awake, she would have ate Jackie? Or would she would have been over there with Coach Ben? Because for right now, I might change my mind later, but for right now, I think Taissa never would have ate Jackie if she was in her right mind and she was awake. Only because she's never been a follower, and if she didn't want to eat Jackie, she wouldn't have ate Jackie. And just for her reaction, the girl was shook. And then so Natalie is like, I'll be the one to get rid of Jackie's remains. Yeah, remains. She barely got some. She's like, I'll go and put her in the plane with everybody else because it's too cold outside. The ground's still too cold to be able to bury somebody. And she's looking at Shauna for permission. And Shauna's like, yeah, whatever you say. Shauna could say no, and I'm still do what I want to do. Who is she to tell me what to do? If she would have said no, I would have been like, girl, you want some more? You want some leftovers? Why not put her in the plane with everybody else? You want a snack? You want some more? So then we see Natalie putting the rest of Jackie's bones in a bag because her bones look dry. Don't look like they have any more meat on them. I mean skin. No more skin. Not the meat. They ate it up like some meat. Technically, I guess it is meat. It's that white part on her face where Taissa took a chunk out of. Just look at her, though. Look at her. Look at Jackie. Look at her. Girl, this is not funny. But who would have thought we would have seen Jackie looking like that? She was on the promo picture. Jackie was the promo picture for Season 1, remember? And when you put it all together, when you think about it, it was for a reason to let us know, giving us a clue. Jackie not gonna make it. Not only is Jackie not gonna make it, Shauna's gonna hold her up in the meat shed for 2 months, talk to her like she alive, eat her ear, cut on her body, paint her face up like she's a clown, be put on the fire, and ate up by her soccer team. But Lottie tried to give Natalie some of her blood juice tea, telling her to drink it because she wants her to be safe. But Natalie's like, nah, I don't want none of that. She didn't even want Travis to go with her. She wanted to go drop off Jackie's bones by herself. So her and Jackie's bones gets to the plane, and Natalie's telling Jackie that she's lucky that she died, and this is just something else for other people to be jealous of because she got to die. And then she's like, rest in peace. Girl, Jackie is not about to rest in peace. She's not resting. Y'all didn't let her rest. Trying to start it off with her not being able to rest, guys. The girl's not going to be peaceful. Y'all ruined that for her. Look at her in that bag. How is you going to be peaceful in that bag? And most of her is inside of y'all's body. So anyway, after Natalie got done saying rest in peace because the girl not going to be resting, she turns around and she sees this moose. A moose. So she's like, I'm going to shoot it. But then she misses, and that's odd because Natalie is usually a good shot. Then the moose comes running towards her. It hits the plane, knocks Natalie down. And by the time she gets herself back together, the moose is gone. It's gone. Where the moose go? I think the moose will be back. I don't think that's the last we saw that moose. Then we see Lottie and Shauna talking, and Lottie is telling Shauna that it's what Jackie would have wanted. Maybe not for the rest of us, but for you, she would have wanted this. And Shauna's looking out the window and she's like, but I wanted it too. Shauna's saying that she's scared and things are getting out of control. She's afraid she's going to hurt the baby. And Lottie's like, no, you're not going to hurt the baby. We should do something to welcome him. So Lottie saying it's a boy, and I thought this whole time that Shauna had a girl. So which one is it, Lottie? Are you lying to us all, or did Shauna really have a boy? What do y'all think about that? So everyone overhears this, and they're like, so are we having a baby shower for Shauna? Everyone's excited to have a baby shower for Shauna. So we see everyone getting their gifts ready and trying to figure out what they're going to give Shauna. Mari made a dream catcher, and Van thinks that's stupid. And Mari is also the only one in there hearing raindrops. She's like, no one else hears these drops? No, girl, you're going crazy. She's losing it. And during this time where everyone is trying to figure out their gifts, there's all these extra side conversations going on. And then that's where we see Crystal and Misty having a conversation. And Crystal is telling Misty that she was a twin, but she ate her twin in the womb. She doesn't regret it. She doesn't feel sorry about it at all. And Misty's like, that's cool. Of course Misty thinks that's cool. They were talking about theater, and Crystal was telling Misty that she knows the best gift that Misty can give Shauna. I was thinking, oh my God, there ain't no telling what that could be. Taissa and Akila was talking, and Akila was telling Taissa that she misses her nephew. The last time she saw him, he was 4 months, and she would do anything to be able to see him again. And Taissa tells her that she's sorry that she has to miss out on him. And I'm wondering what this conversation was about. Like, why they throw this in here? I hope Akila makes it out to see her nephew. And then she gonna do something to be able to make sure she sees him again. And who will she do it to? So everyone is giving Shauna their gifts now. And Misty's like, I'm going to perform a monologue from Steel Magnolias. And I said, oh, okay, nothing dead. But the part that she chose was about the dead daughter, of course. Everyone started laughing at her in the beginning, but they ended up cheering her on in the end. And you know, Misty ate that up. We saw Van give Shauna her gift, and she looked kind of nervous and embarrassed about it. Especially when Mari threw her little 2 cents in and was like, I don't get it. When Van told Shauna that her gift was a TP, and that's to catch the P if it's a boy. Shauna was like, good thinking, Van, but Mari over here confused. Lottie gifted Shauna with the blanket, and it had that symbol on it. And Natalie's like, is this a joke or what? Because why would you give her a blanket with that symbol on it? Then everyone in there starts to take up for Lottie except for Natalie and Taissa. Everybody else is all like, I believe in Lottie. I trust in Lottie. Lottie can do no harm. Right after that, Shauna's nose starts to bleed, and everybody's like, oh no, not Shauna's nose bleeding, rushing to Shauna. Then we hear something that sounds like somebody's running on top of the roof. Everybody goes outside because they're like, what's that? And they see all these dead birds surrounding the house. Natalie tells everyone not to touch them because they could be carrying a disease, but as soon as Queen Lottie says we should gather them all for a blessing, everybody starts to touch the birds that could be carrying a disease. Meanwhile, Shauna's nose is still bleeding. She finally decided to throw that blanket down on the ground because, girl, you need to let that blanket go. It's giving you bad luck, making your nose bleed. It definitely has something to do with Lottie and that symbol in that blanket. And just look at them, giving Lottie the dead birds because she said so. Look at how Taissa's looking at Van, giving Lottie those dead birds. Then we had this moment where we saw Van trying to stay awake and watch Taissa, but then she eventually goes to sleep, and as soon as she closes her eyes, Taissa pops up. And then Van wakes up and she's like, if I let you loose, can I go with you? And Taissa's like, yes. So Taissa is outside sleepwalking again, and Van is right behind her. Van is like, how do you know where to go? Taissa says, he shows me. Van's like, who is he? And Taissa says, the one with no eyes. So Van's like, is that who you always follow? And Taissa's like, only when she lets me. Van's like, who is she? And Taissa says, Taissa. And Van's like, well then who are you? And Taissa doesn't answer her. She just takes her to this tree with the symbol on it. So Van's shaking her now, trying to wake her up. And she's like, look where you took me to. Why did you take me here to this symbol? How did you know it was going to be here? And when Taissa woke up, Van asked her who was the man with no eyes. And Taissa's like, I don't know who that is, but I think she was lying because we saw her do a flashback and we saw her looking at the man with no eyes. She know who that man with no eyes is. I don't know why she's not trying to tell Van the truth. She may not know him personally, but she knows he be popping up. She the one staying up all night trying to keep her from going out there doing God knows what and saving her from almost falling off a cliff. She won't even let her know who the man with no eyes is. Now we're moving on to present day, and we're going to start off with Shauna. Jeff and Shauna went out to eat, and Jeff tells Shauna, I know where things went wrong. It was when I didn't want to use that strawberry lube that was a gift. Because I said it was for goth people and bisexuals. I should have just used the strawberry lube. And Shauna's trying to tell him, no, it's not that. And basically, she just wanted some excitement. She didn't want to keep going back to her boring life. I don't know how that was going to make Jeff feel better, but that's what she told him. So they get inside of the car and Jeff decides he wants to be spontaneous. He tells Shauna they're going to Virginia. They're not going home. They're going to Virginia. So as they're driving, they almost run somebody over. I don't know if they really hit him or not, but they rushed out the car. They're like, are you okay? We're going to call 911. And while they're calling 911, the guy jumps out and pulls his weapon out on him. So Jeff's scared. He's like, don't shoot, don't shoot. The keys are in the ignition. But Shauna is mad. You can tell by the look on her face. She's not going for this. So she tackles the man down, takes the weapon and points it at him. Jeff is like, what are you doing? And he's struggling to take the weapon away from Shauna because she's not trying to let it go. And while they're fighting over this weapon, the guy jumps in the minivan and he drives off with it. And Jeff is like, you trying to get us killed over that raggedy minivan? He should have let Shauna handle that. She had that under control. But she started talking about how she left some quarters in there. Her purse was in there. She just bought herself some crossbodies, and Callie's stuffed animal that she had ever since she was 6 is still in the car. She claims that's her reason for tackling that man like that. But we all know Shauna crazy. That's why she didn't give up. She has GPS on her phone to track her car down. She took an Uber or something to the spot. And even her driver was like, are you sure this is where you want me to drop you off at? And she's like, I'm sure. Thank you. Bye. So we see Shauna sneak inside of something that looks like a in-the-cut car lot. And she has her weapon ready. It's the same one that the guy pulled out on him. And she pulls it out on this guy. And he isn't even the one that stole the car. But she still pulls it out on him. And she's like, I want my minivan back. And the guy is a little scared. But he's like, okay, this is cute and all. But put this weapon down. He's like, I see that you're shaking. He thought Shauna was a joke. But he quickly found out. Shauna started talking and she was like, have you ever pulled the skin off of a human corpse? And she went into detail with it about how you have to grab it just right so you can really get a good grip on it and pull it off. She tells him that there's a look on people's face that they get right before they know they're about to die, and that he has that exact look right now. She's like, my hands wasn't shaking because I'm afraid. It's because I wanted to do this so badly. The man is scared. Okay, he is scared. He was like, okay, let me go. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. The keys are right there. It took everything inside of Shauna not to shoot this man. Just look at her face. Look at her holding it back. I'm like, are you gonna do it or not? Hurry up. But she didn't. Her and Jeff and Callie was gonna have another situation on their hands if Shauna would have finished the job. So she got her minivan back that same day. But I don't think this is the end of it. I think we're gonna see the man that she held up again and the man that actually stole the car again sometime soon. And nuck if you buck Jeff. I guess he picks and chooses when he wants to get crazy and who he gets crazy with, because he sure did walk up to Kevin like he was gonna do something, talking about, hey, you really upset my wife the other day. And that was after he told the guy, I'm still using that machine. No, you're not. Got up. And you talking to some other man all up in his face. You're not using this no more. It's mine now. Where was this energy when your minivan was getting stolen? Where was this energy with the loan sharks? But Kevin's like, I just went over to talk to her because, you know, her and Adam did exchange over 100 text messages. And someone told me that your wife was having an affair. So yeah, I did go over there to talk to her. What you gonna do? And I know he wishes he could tell that it was his own daughter that gave him up and didn't even know. She's dumb Callie. But Jeff is just trying to play the whole thing off like, well, if that's the only lead that you have, I feel sorry for you. You're going nowhere. No, you're going nowhere. And while you're up in Kevin's face, your wife has a weapon pointed in the man's face. She's about to have you in another situation. So now we have Misty and Walter meeting up for the first time. Misty's like, do you stalk everyone on the message boards or am I just lucky? He's like, I wasn't stalking you. He's telling her that it's an honor to meet her. And while they're outside getting acquainted, Misty ends up turning around and she sees Randy. She hurries up and runs inside of the boat. She's like, I can't interview Randy. I went to elementary school with him. So Walter's like, give me your phone number. And Misty's like, whoa, I'm not trying to give you my phone number. And he's like, girl, shut up. He's like, if I call your phone, then I'll be able to talk to you through my earbuds. And that way you can feed me questions. So Misty gave him her number. So Misty is hiding inside the bathroom while Walter is pretending pretending to be FBI. So when Randy gets inside, he's thinking that this is about Jeff, but he quickly realizes that this is about Natalie. He's surprised. He's like, this is about Natalie? I wish they didn't let that Jeff thing slide, but Randy was confused. He didn't know what was going on, and Misty wasn't liking his answers to the questions. So Misty was in Walter's ear saying, hit him. Hit him, hit him. Walter was confused, so he had to go in the bathroom and see what Misty was talking about. He's like, hit him. He ends up listening to Misty. He goes outside and hits him in the face. He's like, what? Randy's like, why you hit me for? I'm answering all the questions. Eventually, Randy tells him that he remembers a group of people outside of the motel dressed in purple, but that he never went up to them to ask them why they were there, but that he just called them dicks for drinking all of the Fanta out of the soda machine. So Walter's like, okay, you can go now, but stay in town just in case I need to talk to you again. After that, Misty and Walter are thinking that they got no good information out of Randy until Misty was like, hold up, wait. He said that they were drinking Fanta. What if they used their credit card for the soda machine? So Walter's like, I'll be able to look into that because, you know, he's a hacker. Also, during that conversation, we find out that that woman that he was checking into that nursing home wasn't really his mom. It was just someone who was getting evicted. And he asked her, he was like, why do you always thumbs down my post? And then Misty comes up with this elaborate lie. She was like, I was really close with Adam's mother, and I don't want her to know that he was a drug addict and that he possibly offed himself. But do you think Walter is buying what Misty just told him? But then later on, though, Walter hits Misty up and he lets her know that he found out where the credit card information came from. He traced it somewhere in a place called Cherry Corners, New York, and asked her if she was down for a road trip. So her and Walter is about to be going on a road trip. I already know that's about to be entertaining. But now we're about to move on to Taissa. And when we first see her, it starts off as a dream. And in the dream, the doctor is telling Taissa that Simone's red blood cell count is low and that she may need to consider a transfusion. We see Sammy asking Taissa if Simone is going to die. We see Simone sitting up saying, is this what you wanted? Then we see her wake up from the dream and she's a little confused. The nurse is there and she's like, oh, I hope I didn't startle you. Taissa's like, how is she? And the nurse is telling her that they're not out of the woods yet. And then she's like, this is an interesting design you drew on her hand. What does it mean? And Taissa's like, oh, it's for good luck. She wish it was. So the nurse leaves the room and Taissa starts to rub this symbol off of Simone's hand. Then we see Taissa in the bathroom. She was popping some pills, looking in the mirror, shaking her head at herself because she just can't believe herself. So she turns away from the mirror and then she turns back to look at the mirror and herself is already looking at herself in the mirror. Then her evil self that's inside of the mirror starts mouthing something to her. I can't make it out. Something like, don't you something. Don't what? Why wasn't it clear? Why wasn't it clear? And Taissa's like, what are you talking about to herself in the mirror? Me too. And then her evil self in the mirror starts putting her hands on her face. And I'm thinking evil Taissa is trying to make that symbol. That's what I'm thinking. But the good Taissa grabbed her stuff and got up out that bathroom. And when she got out the bathroom, she ran into her campaign manager. And her campaign manager let her know that the toxicology report came back clean. So she's good on that. And that they're going to try to blame something on the other driver. I don't know how y'all going to do that when Taissa is the one that ran the red light. Taissa asked the campaign manager, did she drive here? And she was like, yeah, I did. So Taissa's like, give me your keys. She was like, do you think it's really a good time for you to drive? No, it's never a good time for Taissa to drive. Nobody give your keys to Taissa. I don't know why she let her punk her like that. And Taissa is trying to call Jessica Roberts, but she just don't know. Jessica Roberts is not about to pick up because Misty handled that already. I don't know where you think you going with the keys, girl, because it ain't going to be the Jessica Roberts alive. Now we're about to get into Lottie and Natalie. I think that they could be putting something in Natalie's drink. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're showing us Natalie drinking this drink in this cup. And they made it a point in last week's episode to talk about this drink in the cup. So in the morning, Natalie sees Lottie doing her voodoo magic on one of her cult members. And then she keeps on walking. She don't want Lottie to see her. And when she keeps walking, she sees this house with these antlers on it. And she runs into the girl who she stabbed with a fork. And the girl that she stabbed with a fork is weirdly rubbing on this chicken. And just so you know, Fork girl's name is Lisa. So when Natalie asked Lisa what the building is with those antler ears on it, she says that it's Charlotte's Quarters. but that she always keeps it locked. Natalie's like, even with all that growth and trust y'all be talking about, she still keeps it locked. So Lisa's like, well, she still has to protect herself. That's suspicious. Something is definitely up with that. And then this weird girl who got stabbed with a fork, Lisa, takes this chicken and chops his head off. I said, oh no, the innocent chicken. You were just caressing it, you creep. You psycho. The chicken never saw that coming. You was just rubbing on its head. But where did this blood come from? Because when Natalie walked away from her, we saw this. Why is the tree bleeding? A little later on that day, Lottie tried to get Natalie to sign up for one of their activities. And Natalie's like, no, I'm not really trying to do that. She was like, I figured you would say something like that. So then Lottie made Natalie come look at her bees. She was like, come over here and look at my bees. Then she started giving her this speech about how the queen bee kills all the other queen bees that were supposed to be queen bees. Otherwise, they will starve. And Natalie tells her, I can see why you like them, throwing in that shade. I think that speech had a little something to do with them being outside in the wilderness. But then later on, we see Natalie in one of Lottie's classes, and she's just sitting there. She got this purple cardigan thrown over her shoulder. She's not really wearing it. Lottie called Natalie up to share things with the group, but Natalie didn't really want to. So Lottie was like, it's okay, stay right here. And she called Lisa up. Lottie said, Natalie hurt you the other day, didn't she? Let her know how that made you feel. So Lisa says she felt fear and disappointment. So that's when Lottie hands Lisa a fork and she says, it's okay if you want to hurt her the same way she hurt you. And I said, ooh, that's sketchy. That's shady. Why would she want everybody in the cult to see this and talk about it? Because it was some more people there. Natalie was just standing there like a Jeep, like she dare her. Lisa walks up to her and she hugs her instead. She drops the fork and hugs Natalie. And look at Natalie's face. Look at how she looking at Lottie. Then later, we see Lottie outside with her bees, and they're all dead. She's freaking out. She's crying. She's like, oh no, my bees. Then she picks the thing up, and there's blood everywhere. I'm like, how blood get in there like that? Then she starts touching the blood, and I'm like, what are you touching it for? What's that gonna do? So now the blood is all over her hands because she just had to touch it. And while she's looking at her hands, we hear this lady's voice, and it sounds like it's in another language. So then that's when Lottie snaps out of it, and she's like, what? And then that's when we see the lady, and she's like, are you going to join us for lunch? She didn't say that in English at first. I don't even think that's what was said at first. What do y'all think is going on with Lottie and them bees? And remember, we saw blood earlier on the tree when Natalie was walking away from Lisa. What is going on with these bees? Let me know your theories on Lottie because I think she's evil. So now we're moving on to Coach Ben, and we finally get to meet his boyfriend. And his boyfriend, Paul, is stressing out about the clam chowder that he has to bring to his family competition. And we're seeing all of this in a flashback that Coach Ben is having. He's reminiscing. They end up getting into this fight because Paul wants Ben to move in with him, mainly because Ben told him that he would move in with him after the holidays, but it's May now. So what you waiting for? But Ben has every excuse in the book not to move in with him, and it's all mainly because he's afraid to come out. He's trying to blame it on the soccer team. He's like, we're going to nationals. I can't move in with you right now. So Paul ends up telling him to leave because he's like, you don't want to live the same life that I want to live with you. You're not trying to do that with me, so you have to leave. And remember, this is all in like a flashback or whatever. So then we see Ben come back to the house and he's like, I'm not going with them to nationals anymore. I'm going to stay here with you. I'm going to come out. I'm going to move in with you. He said that he's not going to be afraid anymore and that he's going to live the way that he wants to. So they make up, right? And then as they're making up, we see on the news that the plane crashed with his team in it. And I'm like, hold up, what's going on? I'm kind of confused. So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe Coach Ben is thinking, what if? Like, what if I didn't go with them on this plane and I actually stayed here with him? I could be living good with my boyfriend, but nah, I got on that plane because I was scared. And Coach Ben is looking like he's on his last days. Like he only got a few more left. He over here thinking the girl foaming at the mouth and trying to attack him. Them eating Jackie tore him up. He is messed up. But y'all let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.